For decades, Bo Derek was a symbol of beauty and grace, the golden-haired goddess who captured Hollywood's heart with that iconic beach scene in 10. But beyond the glamour and red carpets, Bo's personal life remained deeply intertwined with one man, John Derek, her mentor, husband, and the man who shaped the course of her life in ways both inspiring and controversial. Now, at 68, Bo is finally breaking her silence and sharing the truth about the man who was always at the center of her story. And what she reveals is both heartbreaking and eye-opening, the beginning of a love story, or something else. Bo was just 16 when she met John Derek, a seasoned actor and director, 30 years her senior. At the time, he was married to actress Linda Evans. But when John saw Bo, everything changed. He divorced Linda, left behind a stable career, and moved to Europe with Bo, waiting until she was of legal age. It was scandalous, even predatory. But for Bo, it was different. He was everything, she has said. My protector, my teacher, my love. It wasn't a typical Hollywood romance. It was obsessive, passionate, and deeply complicated. Living in John's shadow. John wasn't just Bo's husband, he was also her director, manager, and gatekeeper. He crafted her image, picked her roles, styled her look. It was John's vision that turned Bo into a global icon with 10. But while the world saw Bo as a rising star, behind the scenes, she was carefully molded, often silenced. John had a very specific idea of who I should be, Bo admitted. And I went along with it, because I loved him. I trusted him. But I lost parts of myself in the process. She gave up mainstream roles, turned down major films, and followed John's lead, even when it meant risking her own career. Criticism and controversy. The public was divided. Some saw Bo and John's relationship as romantic, a creative partnership like no other. Others saw it as controlling, even toxic. Many criticized John for manipulating a teenage girl and shaping her into his personal fantasy. Bo, for years, stayed quiet, fiercely protective of their story. But now, she's opening up. At the time, I didn't feel manipulated, Bo explained. But looking back, I understand why people were concerned. I was so young. And everything I did was really about him. A love that endured. But at a price. Despite everything, Bo stayed by John's side for over 2 decades, through fame, backlash, and personal struggles. When John fell ill in the late 90s, Bo became his caretaker. She put her career on hold, isolated herself from the industry, and devoted herself to him until his death in 1998. I don't regret loving him, she says now. But I do think I lost pieces of who I was. I was always John Derek's wife. Never just Bo. Finding herself after John. It wasn't until after John's death that Bo finally began to rediscover herself. Slowly, she re-entered public life, on her own terms. She got involved in charities, worked with wounded veterans, and even returned to acting. But this time, she wasn't the girl in cornrows from 10, she was a woman with her own voice. I had to figure out who Bo was without John, she shared. And that took time. A lot of time. Her unexpected second chance at Levine, a twist no one saw coming. Bo later fell in love with actor John Corbett, yes, the charming Aiden from Sex and the City. The two had been together for over 20 years, finally marrying in 2020 in a quiet ceremony. It's very different, Bo says of her relationship with Corbett. It's free. There's no control. Just love. Finally speaking her truth now, at 68, Bo Derek has the wisdom and freedom to look back with clarity. She doesn't vilify John, in fact, she still speaks of him with love. But she also no longer hides behind the mythology. She's finally honest. I think people always suspected I was trapped in that relationship, she says. And maybe, in some ways, I was. But I also chose it. That's the truth. Bo's story is not just one of beauty and fame, it's about the cost of love, the complexity of power, and the long journey toward finding your own voice. A life reclaimed today. Bo Derek is more than just a Hollywood legend. She's a woman who survived the machine, outlived the whispers, and emerged stronger, not just as John Derek's muse, but as her own person. And as she finally confirms the truth the world always suspected, one thing is clear: Bo's story was never just about being someone's 10, it's about becoming a 10 in her own right, through pain, reflection, and ultimately, freedom.